The mirror doesn't lie. The truth about who you are isn't in what people say. It's in what you do when no one's watching. Most people spend their entire lives trying to convince the world that there's something they're not. They post their highlight reels, flex their fake smiles, and talk about discipline like it's a fashion trend. But when the lights go out, when the room gets quiet, when no one's there to clap for you, what are you really doing? That's where the truth lives. The mirror doesn't care about your words, your excuses, or your stories. It reflects exactly who you are and what you've been avoiding. Every scar, every flaw, every ounce of laziness, it's all right there, staring back at you. You can lie to the world, but you can't lie to yourself. The mirror will always expose the real you. When you wake up in the morning and look in that mirror, that's your daily confrontation with truth. You either see someone proud of the grind or someone ashamed of the wasted time. And the worst part? Most people don't even look anymore. They avoid eye contact because deep down, they know they've been playing small. They know they've been soft. They know they've been choosing comfort over growth. The mirror reminds you of every promise you broke to yourself, every day you said tomorrow, every goal you threw away because it got hard. That reflection isn't your enemy. It's your accountability partner. It's the one thing that won't let you escape your reality. You see, when you stop hiding from that reflection, something shifts. You start getting brutally honest. You start to see the person you could have been if you had just stayed consistent. And that hurts. It cuts deep. But pain is where transformation starts. You need to stand there and face the truth until it breaks you, because only then can you rebuild something stronger. Stop running from the person you are and start chasing the person you're meant to become. You can't fix what you won't face. The mirror is your reminder that the battle is always internal. You're not competing with anyone else. You're competing with who you were yesterday. When you start using the mirror the right way, it stops being a reflection and starts being a report card. Did you put in the work today? Did you stay disciplined when no one was watching? Did you keep your word when no one was around to notice? The mirror doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your busy schedule, your bad day, or your lack of motivation. It only cares about results. It only shows the truth. That truth might hurt, but that pain is your wake-up call. It's your signal to stop lying, stop delaying, and start doing. Most people are terrified of that confrontation because it reveals the gap between who they are and who they pretend to be. But that's exactly why it's powerful. When you can look at yourself and say, I'm not good enough yet, but I'm working on it, that's where growth begins. You stop needing validation. You stop craving approval. You start building self-respect. Every rep, every early morning, every late night grind, those moments change what you see in that reflection. You want to know who you really are? Watch what you do when nobody's looking. Watch what happens when the motivation fades and all that's left is discipline. Watch how you act when it's not convenient, when it's not comfortable, when it hurts. That's your truth. That's what the mirror will show you. It doesn't lie. It won't sugarcoat. It won't flatter. It just reflects. And that reflection, whether it makes you proud or disgusted, is the result of every decision you've made. The mirror shows whether you're becoming the warrior or still living as the coward. It's the most honest conversation you'll ever have, and the only one that can change your life. Comfort is killing you. You've built a cage out of comfort, and it's quietly destroying your potential. Every time you choose the easy route, every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, you tighten those bars around yourself. Comfort is a slow poison. It doesn't hurt right away, but it rots you from the inside. It makes you believe you're okay when you're not. It whispers in your ear that you've done enough, that you deserve to rest, that life's supposed to be easy. And little by little, that voice becomes your master. You stop chasing growth. You stop testing your limits. You start living like a ghost, existing but not alive. Comfort doesn't just make you lazy. It steals your purpose. It convinces you that average is acceptable. And once you believe that, you're done. The reason most people never find out who they truly are is because they've never been forced to face discomfort. Pain exposes you. Struggle shapes you. When you remove that struggle, you remove your chance to evolve. Look around. How many people live inside that cage of comfort without even realizing it? They wake up, go through their routine, complain about how life never changes, yet they never push beyond the bare minimum. That's not living. That's slow death. Every day that passes inside that comfort zone is another piece of your potential fading into nothing. You were built for more, but you can't become more by staying where it's easy. Comfort is seductive. It tells you that rest is peace, but it's not. True peace doesn't come from avoiding the storm. It comes from learning how to fight through it. When you've been through hell and survived, that's when you can finally breathe freely. But if you never put yourself through discomfort, you never build that kind of peace. You live in fear of challenges because you've never learned how to endure them. And that's why comfort is the deadliest trap. It feels good while it destroys you. You think you're safe, but you're stuck. You think you're winning, but you're wasting your life away. You have to break that pattern. You have to make a decision to stop negotiating with comfort, because comfort doesn't care about your dreams. It only cares about keeping you numb. The mind is designed to protect you from pain, but it doesn't know the difference between pain that breaks you and pain that builds you. That's your job, to teach it. Every time you choose to get uncomfortable, every time you push past fear, every time you take one more rep, one more mile, one more minute when you want to quit, you're teaching your mind that discomfort isn't death. You're rewriting what it means to be alive. You can't grow in the same place you hide. You can't transform while clinging to comfort. Every goal you've ever dreamed of lies on the other side of pain, and most people never reach it because they're too afraid to suffer. They'd rather live a life of quiet regret than face a few moments of discomfort. But those who step into the pain, who embrace the struggle, they're the ones who break the cage. They're the ones who understand that every moment of weakness is an opportunity to become stronger. You have to understand that comfort has no mercy. It doesn't care how much potential you have. It doesn't care how many dreams you've written down. It will slowly suffocate every ounce of ambition in your soul until you forget what hunger feels like. You'll start telling yourself lies to make peace with mediocrity. I'm happy where I am. At least I'm better than most. That's comfort speaking. That's fear disguised as logic. Deep down, you know the truth. You know there's more inside you. You know you're capable of more, but as long as you keep feeding comfort, you'll never see it. You were not built to live soft. You were built to endure, to adapt, to conquer. Comfort wants you weak, wants you quiet, wants you average. It wants to see your fire fade until you're just another person surviving instead of living. But you don't have to stay there the moment you choose to step out of that comfort zone, to face the pain head on, to do what scares you. That's when you start to wake up. That's when you start to remember what it feels like to be alive. The cage was never locked. You've just been sitting there, afraid to move. Pain is the real teacher. Growth doesn't come from winning. It comes from bleeding, breaking, and rebuilding. Everyone loves the idea of success, but no one wants to go through what success demands. Pain is the entry fee to greatness. It's the test life gives you to see if you really want what you say you want. You can't cheat it, you can't skip it, and you can't fake it. Every scar, every heartbreak, every failure, it's all part of your education. The pain you run from today becomes the weakness that haunts you tomorrow. But the pain you face, the pain you embrace, becomes your power. It's not the easy days that make you who you are. It's the nights you wanted to quit but didn't. It's the mornings you dragged yourself out of bed when your mind told you to stay down. That's where real growth lives. When everything's going right, you don't learn anything. You celebrate, you relax, you coast. But when life hits you in the mouth, when you're bleeding, when you're broken, when you've got nothing left but your will, that's when you discover who you really are. Pain strips away your excuses. It removes every mask you hide behind and forces you to face your truth. You can't pretend in pain. You can't fake strength when everything hurts. Pain doesn't care about your image or your reputation. It reveals what's underneath all of it. It shows you whether you're built to endure or built to escape. The people who run from pain spend their whole lives searching for shortcuts, looking for comfort, trying to find a path without struggle. But there's no path like that. Every person who's ever achieved anything had to go through the fire. You can't build resilience by avoiding it. You build it by walking through it. Pain is the gym for your mind and your spirit. Every rep hurts, but every rep makes you stronger. You might not see the progress right away, but every time you push through, you're becoming someone new, someone tougher, sharper, more dangerous to failure. Pain doesn't just teach you how to endure, it teaches you how to appreciate. When you've suffered, you stop taking things for granted. You understand the value of every small win, every step forward, every breath after the storm. The ones who've been broken know gratitude on a level the comfortable never will. Because when you've lost everything and kept going, you learn that strength isn't about what you have. It's about who you are when you have nothing. Pain teaches you to fight without applause, to move without motivation, to keep going when there's no reason left except that you refuse to surrender. The truth is, pain is life's most honest teacher. It doesn't sugarcoat, it doesn't flatter, and it doesn't lie. It exposes weakness so you can replace it with strength. It tests your limits so you can learn how far you can go. It breaks you so you can rebuild the right way. People who avoid pain never change. They repeat the same mistakes, hide behind the same excuses, and live the same empty cycle because they never allowed pain to teach them. But those who face it head on, they evolve. They understand that pain is not punishment, it's preparation. When you've been through real pain, you stop fearing it. You start respecting it. You realize that every time you survive something you thought would destroy you, you became something more. Pain turns fear into fuel, doubt into drive, weakness into wisdom. It gives you a level of confidence that can't be faked because it's been earned. When you've walked through hell and come out the other side, you stop being afraid of the fire. You stop flinching when life gets hard. You stop needing things to be easy because you know that easy doesn't change you. Pain does. Every scar you carry is a lesson carved into your skin, proof that you didn't just survive, you adapted. Pain is the process. Pain is the sculptor. Pain is the reason you're still standing when others quit. Accountability is freedom. The second you stop making excuses, you take control of your life. Most people spend their lives chained to their own lies. They blame their past, their parents, their environment, their circumstances, anything that keeps them from facing the truth. But the moment you start owning your mistakes, your weaknesses, your failures, that's the moment you break those chains. Accountability isn't about guilt. It's about power. When you take responsibility for everything in your life, good or bad, you reclaim control. You stop waiting for someone to save you. You stop expecting life to get easier. You stop being a victim because victims wait, but accountable people act. Accountability is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. And most people never cross it because it demands honesty, and honesty hurts. When you start holding yourself accountable, you start realizing that nobody's coming to fix your life. No one's going to wake you up. No one's going to push you. No one's going to care more than you do. That's your job. The harsh truth is that you're exactly where your habits have put you. Every choice, every skipped day, every excuse has built the life you're living right now. And if you hate it, the only way to change it is to own it. You can't transform what you keep denying. You can't grow if you're still blaming. Accountability forces you to look in the mirror and face the person who's been holding you back all along. That person isn't your boss, your friends, or your family. It's you. Accountability gives you freedom because it eliminates excuses. The second you admit that you're responsible, you stop wasting energy pointing fingers and start putting that energy into fixing yourself. That's when real progress starts. When you say, I'm the reason I'm not where I want to be, it might sting, but it also gives you the power to do something about it. You become unstoppable because you stop waiting for the world to be fair. You accept that life isn't fair, and you keep going anyway. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need motivation. You just need to take ownership of your actions, your mindset, and your effort. That's freedom. Because when you're accountable, nothing controls you anymore. Not people, not situations, not excuses. People think accountability is a punishment, but it's the opposite. It's liberation. It means you have the ability to change anything in your life. You can't rewrite your past, but you can rewrite your story. Every day you choose accountability, you take a step away from who you used to be. You stop lying to yourself. You stop pretending you're trying when you're not. You stop saying I can't when what you really mean is I won't. Accountability exposes your truth, and the truth always leads to growth. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about owning every inch of your journey, the wins, the losses, the failures, and the lessons. When you start living with accountability, your standards rise. You stop settling for average. You stop surrounding yourself with people who enable your weakness. You start demanding more from yourself because you know you're capable of more. Accountability doesn't make life easier. It makes you stronger. It forces you to confront the lazy voice in your head that says you've done enough. It makes you call yourself out when you start slipping, when you start negotiating with comfort, when you start playing small. It's self-respect in its purest form. You don't need someone to check on you because you've already checked yourself. The truth is, without accountability, there is no growth. There's just motion without direction. You might be busy, but you're not improving. You might talk about goals, but you're not chasing them. Accountability keeps you honest about where you stand. It's not about comparing yourself to others. It's about competing with the person you were yesterday. When you mess up, you don't hide from it. You face it, fix it, and move forward. That's how discipline is built. That's how confidence is earned. Every time you hold yourself accountable, you become harder to break. Accountability is freedom because it teaches you that you're in control of your destiny. You learn that nobody owes you anything. And that's a good thing. Because once you stop expecting, you start creating. Once you stop blaming, you start building. Once you stop complaining, you start moving. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's your weapon. The moment you stop making excuses, you take back your power. The moment you own your life, you unlock the version of yourself that's been waiting to be unleashed. Your mind is the enemy until you train it. You're fighting a war inside your head every day. And if you don't dominate your thoughts, they'll destroy you. The mind is a powerful weapon, but untrained, it turns against you. It tells you you're tired when you're not. It convinces you to quit when you're just getting started. It feeds you fear, doubt, and weakness disguised as logic. The mind is built to protect you from pain, not to make you stronger. And that's why it becomes your biggest obstacle. It's always trying to keep you safe, but safe doesn't make you grow. Safe keeps you small. Every person who's ever achieved greatness had to declare war on their own mind first. Because before you conquer the world, you have to conquer the voice inside that says you can't. When you wake up in the morning and that voice tells you to stay in bed, that's not comfort. It's resistance. When it tells you you've done enough, that's fear of discipline. When it whispers that you'll fail, that's your past trying to chain you down. The mind remembers pain, embarrassment, and failure, and it uses them to keep you from trying again. It's not your friend until you train it. Until then, it's your enemy. It will talk you out of your dreams. It will convince you that effort is useless. It will push you to settle because it's easier than pushing through discomfort. That's why the real battle is never with the weights in the gym, the miles on the road, or the people who doubt you. It's always with yourself. The war is inside. You have to learn to separate what's real from what's just your mind trying to keep you weak. Most people listen to every thought they have and mistake it for truth. They believe every excuse that pops up. They let their mind run wild, unchecked, untrained, and then wonder why they can't stay consistent. You have to realize that the mind is just noise until you give it direction. It's a wild animal. It obeys only when you take control. Training your mind is like building muscle. It takes repetition, pain, and discipline. Every time you push through, when your mind screams stop, you're teaching it that you're in charge. Every time you ignore that lazy voice and keep moving, you're rewiring it. You're turning it from a liar into a weapon. When you train your mind, it starts to work for you instead of against you. You begin to recognize your thoughts for what they are, temporary signals, not commands. You start to question your excuses. You start to understand that fear is just your mind predicting failure before it happens, not a prophecy written in stone. That's when you become dangerous, because now your emotions don't control you. Your circumstances don't break you. You can be tired, scared, or broken and still keep going. The mind doesn't stop talking. It never will. But when you've trained it, you learn how to make it speak your language. This war inside your head never ends. Every day, you'll wake up to that same voice trying to negotiate, trying to drag you back into comfort. You'll hear it tell you you're not ready, you're not good enough, you're not capable. But the difference between the strong and the weak is how they respond. The weak believe it. The strong challenge it. They don't silence the voice. They dominate it. They tell it who's in control. They feed it discipline, consistency, and truth until it bends to their will. They know that the mind is programmable, and if you don't write the code, life will write it for you. Training your mind means getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. It means embracing boredom, fatigue, and repetition until they no longer scare you. It means knowing that your thoughts don't define you. Your actions do. Your mind will try to break you down, but every time you rise above it, it loses power. Every time you do what you said you'd do, no matter how you feel, you win another battle in the war for control. You start becoming someone your old mind can't recognize. The fear that used to paralyze you becomes fuel. The doubt that used to slow you down becomes drive. The pain that used to make you quit becomes purpose. Most people never win this war because they never fight it. They give in the moment it gets hard. They believe the lies their mind tells them and call it reality. But if you want freedom, if you want power, if you want peace, you have to fight back. You have to dominate your own thoughts before they dominate you. The mind can destroy you or it can make you unstoppable. It depends on whether you control it or it controls you.